Executive Director of Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce, and I am very pleased to be able to bring you these resources. It seems that in these interesting times, chambers of commerce have acted on the front lines of disseminating information that's been coming in tidal waves. And I'm sure that all of you have been inundated from every side, but how to really navigate all of the information is where the challenges do come in. I have been working closely during this season with Kim Harris, and she is an income specialist with advanced retirement planning. But in this particular season, she's been a wealth of knowledge and guidance to work with all of our members and all of the community business leaders here in Montgomery to help us get the best information and the right and most accurate, because there are so many things out that you could come across on Facebook or wherever and just get a mixed message. So I'm very thankful for Kim. As we said originally, we want to customize what we share with you. This is the third in our CARES Act webinar series that we have done. This is going into week 3. And Kim and I have been gathering some feedback from our members and business leaders around the community, and it seems that we are all now at the application stage. And so we feel like today we're going to go into some of the nuts and bolts hold on just a second, let me make sure that I can see everything. Here we go. We want to make sure that we have the nuts and bolts covered on getting the applications completed, both for the PPP and the EIDL. And then we definitely want to dive into the employee tax credits and the options there that you can help offset some of your costs in that way. So we don't want to forget about that little piece. It gets talked about less than the others, but that could be a better solution for your business. So again, as we go through today, and it looks like Katie has left us a message already of some things that are going on for her, and we're going to try to customize our presentation today and make sure we cover everything and go forward from there. So with that introduction, I will turn it over to Kim Harris. Take it away.
Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate that. First of all, if you're not on mute, would you go ahead and put yourself in mute mode? And if you all can see the chat, Katie wrote a very good question, and I think we'll be answering that question during this presentation. But you are correct. If your workers are 1099, you cannot count them in if you apply for a PPP loan. They are able to do that for themselves, and they would benefit from going to the Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce COVID-19 webpage with all of our links on there. Okay, we'll be covering the payroll since they're not W-2. Hopefully we can answer that for you. So as we get started here today, again, our focus is upon economic issues, not health or safety. And the information is changing so quickly. So what we are talking about today, we have had updates on as early as this morning, but most everything was verified yesterday. And again, this is not legal advice, but it's information to help you all know where to go to get the answers that you need. Shannon, one thing I thought about, did you put the contact to Governor Brady's office for questions on the website?
I have not, but I certainly can.
Okay. Yes. Okay, good. So, and we're going to talk about government actions today, the PPP, the EIDL, and we're going to cover a little bit more about the employee retention tax credit. Since you have 3 different ways to go, it's really important that you compare all 3 to see which would be the best benefit for you in your company. So we have two choices through the CARES Act to affected eligible businesses. The first, and this is the new one, is the PPP. And this loan is from existing SBA lenders or those who are going to be approved. We'll have a website link where you can go out and check and get the updated list. The second option is the EIDL loan, and that's directly from the federal government, from the SBA, and that application is made online only. So this is a comparison of the payroll protection program and the economic injury disaster loan. You can see the differences here, what the what it's used for, and the amount. A lot of difference, up to 2 million on EIDL, but 2.5 times your business's average monthly payroll. And we're going to have a spreadsheet a little bit later in the presentation, and that's also on the website that will help you figure that.
So I think it just goes to note here that in layman's terms, the EIDL loans can cover a lot more business expenses than just the trifecta of payroll, mortgage, and utilities. They can be covered in the EIDL, but they are also directly pinpointed in the Paycheck Protection Program. So you'll want to utilize that forgiveness option out of the PPP and then reserve your EIDL options for additional business expenses, operational costs, of course, will not be forgiven. You must understand that. But that's why the size is so much more significant in the EIDL loans, is because it's intended to cover more things.
And once you make the application online, you will be assigned a loan officer that will be able to help you with this. And one of the reasons I asked Shannon to put on Congressman Brady's the contact email address is because on the town halls that I have participated in and listened to, small businesses have asked specific questions, and if he did not know the answer, his staff would get the answer, and so they are there to help you and serve you as well. I've pulled a lot of the information today directly from the SBA site. So if you go on the site that's listed there and you scroll down to the COVID-19 Small Business Guidance and Loan Resources, the first arrow here is the slide deck that I've taken a lot of information from, and you can see here it was updated for 6. You can check back for updates on that. They do webinars on it when I have like 5 different times during the day that you could listen in. The other link that you need to check often is the list of active SBA guaranteed lenders. They have said this will be changing quite a bit. They have had clarification come out on faith-based eligibility. I'm not going to go into that in details, but there is, again, there's a link on the MACC website. So we're going to talk about PPP. This news also came out that on April the 3rd, that small businesses and small sole proprietorships applied. And as of this Friday, it's when the independent contractors, so those who are paid by 1099s, and those who are self-employed, so like filing a Schedule C, can apply. Now, you can use the information from your 2018 taxes if you've not filed your 2019 taxes, but you will be asked to provide a 2019 a profit and loss statement.
Mm-hmm.
So calculating your average monthly payroll costs. There is a quick link on the MACC site, but this is an example of what it's going to have. This is a spreadsheet that's a protected spreadsheet, and it's going to give you 3 options: companies who were open all of 2019. And then it will have where you can plug in the numbers that it's of the information that you see here on this screen. Your second option is going to be seasonal businesses, and the third option is new businesses opened prior to 2/15, but not open for a full 12 months. So I hope that will be helpful for you as well.
We already have that spreadsheet for calculator live and linked on our COVID Links website. So you can click on it. It will download the locked spreadsheet so you cannot screw up any of the formulas.
Right.
You'll be able to plug your numbers in, and it will give you the final calculations that you are looking for to enter in on the application. And we're about to dive into the application on this next slide. So just know that when Kim is referring back to your total that you want to enter, you can use the pre-programmed, all the formulas are there and locked and safeguarded. So you could enter your spreadsheet to get the calculations that you need. And it's already up and live on our page.
So another important thing to remember here is that, I need to let somebody in here. Okay, is that the information that you're being asked to enter on this spreadsheet, you need to make sure this is exact information, because on the application you will be verifying that you entered all the correct information. The bank is not going to be checking your numbers. So this is part of the application. Now, this application is from the SBA. However, when you go to your bank, the application may look different because every bank can come up with their own version. One of the things I wanted to let you know is that for those people that are a PLLC, like an attorney or a doctor, you would check the LLC box.
For our new guest on the call, can you
Yes.
mute them?
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Yeah,
We're ready.
okay. And now this is where you put in the amount of your loan request for your PPP. And the term is 24 months, but the first payment is deferred for 6 months. The interest on the loan is 1%. And there, anything I refer to today and say that on the website, Shannon has already got it up and ready for you all to review. So there's not a lot of information for you to enter other than this type, and you need to read everything you answer carefully.
And that is the blank, Kim, that you will insert the calculated number from the spreadsheet? Mm-hmm.
Yes, on the amount of the loan request, yes.
Very good.
So on this loan, again, you apply through existing lenders. Mm-hmm. Documents needed. I'm sure all of you have applied for a mortgage loan, and you need to give them everything they're asking for. And part of my tenure in being in financial services, I have been a part of the mortgage industry, and a decision cannot be made until all the supporting documentation is provided. So things will go much faster for you if you have everything they ask for up front. So applying for EIDL, everything is online. And if you look here, I mean, you can use your iPhone, and the browser you use is Safari, and it has different ones that you need to use on your web browser. Now, there is a link also on the COVID-19 for how to submit this application. I'm going to go there for just a minute, And I have to change screens here so I can get there for you. Let me see if this is it. That's not it. Where did I put it? Hold on just a minute. I'm sorry. I've got a few windows open here. And I cannot find, wait a minute. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So this is the first slide of walking you through it, and it is like a PowerPoint that is going to walk you through exactly what you need to fill out in the gray boxes. It's going to give you instructions on what to do and what you can't leave out, what you need to type in. And all of that. So I think it's pretty comprehensive on how you need to fill it out and the information that you need to provide. And we're not going to go into this in detail today, but I want you to know that you have something that will walk you through it step by step.
So this was for the EIDL loan application.
Yes.
That step-by-step guide on our COVID-19 page
Yes.
says EIDL step-by-step application guide. That's how it's labeled. It will pull it down and show you each of the screens, each of the pages that is for the application. So it'll walk you through each of those. And then back to the first application, that is the PPP application. We have the loan application linked, and then the instructions she just had was with that calculator. It's really only one page, right, Kim?
On that calculator, the spreadsheet, yes, the spreadsheet is one page.
But doing the PPP is going to be for each bank, but it's really short and sweet. It is.
I think it's about 4 pages. We didn't cover the whole thing because there is a lot of things that need to be read, and you need to understand everything that you're answering, and your personal banker can help you with that.
Very good. So what I've done at the bottom of our COVID links page, at the top, I have all of the generic resources to walk you through it. On the second layer, I have direct links to the applications themselves. And then I have lender links, and I have gone through each of the banks in our region and found their specific CARES Act COVID loan pages. So you should be able to pick the bank that is your preference here regionally. There are some other options there. There is a TWU Women Owned in Business. Those are some grants available. Lift Fund is also doing some special loans, but I have, for all intents and purposes, the banks here locally and their direct pages for the PPP. Okay.
Katie asked a question. I filled this out for EIDL, but it was much shorter. Yes, it's not the same. That was what was originally supposed to be for the grant, but that's not for the regular EIDL loan, is my understanding. So yes, you would need to go back in and fill out the entire thing. So additional details, there's no cost to apply. You don't have to take the loan if it's offered to you. You can reduce it. There's no personal guarantee requirements under 200,000, and your house you will not have to put up your home for collateral in the state of Texas. So the grant. Now this is the part of the EIDL loan that is forgiven. And it says payment should occur within 3 days. It should occur within 3 days after the loan processing. So you cannot receive anything until after after that. So when you have completed the application, you're going to have a screen that says that it's been completed and it's been submitted. So be sure and print that screen with your application number on it. This is the customer service number at the bottom of the page, specifically for when you apply for the EIDL loan. If you need more funds, you can submit supporting documentations and request an increase. If you are denied a loan, I would look into what you need to do to be approved. You might need to provide more details. People who make loan decisions are very detail oriented. They like things spelled out on paper exactly what they're asking for, and sometimes with a little bit more information that may be what's actually required. So if you are denied and you do need the money, I would go through and do what they ask for you to do to be considered. Here's contact information. This webinar will be put up hopefully later today, and you can go back through here and write down these numbers. So we have some common questions that are asked during these SBA phone calls, and so I just wanted to put them up. Remember that the PPP loans are being offered through banks. You cannot check the application, your application online yet. They're trying to get that done. Are the EIDL loans forgiven? No, but the advance, the grant of $10,000 is. Now, just because you apply doesn't mean you're going to get the full $10,000. There's parameters on how much you can be advanced. We have heard per employee, it's from $750 to $1,000. But from what I understand from the seminar yesterday, Shannon, that's not definitive, that we're still waiting to hear the exact ruling on that. Is that what your takeaway was?
Yes, I was answering a private question. So just rephrase the first part of your question. What wasn't definitive? The amount?
Up to $10,000, between $750 and $1,000.
That is correct. So let's talk about this for just a second. It was advertised that everybody would get quick cash of $10,000. Up to is one of those funny little phrases that'll get you every time, right? And so there were some variables, and I have done extensive questioning of SBA to understand the metrics behind how they decide how much you get in the EIDL cash advance. So basically what they are suggesting is they consider the number of employees and what things you are in need of right away. Remembering that the grant part, the forgiven, if you will, part, it hinges on those three qualifications: the payroll, the rent or mortgage, and the utilities, and that's the only component they're forgiving at this point, or granting, if you will. So if you have only a handful of employees, you're likely only going to receive in the cash advance about $750 to $1,000 per employee, not an automatic $10,000 to everyone across the board. I don't think that's realistic in any way. So I think it was a little bit grand as it was spit out, but now we're having to sort through the details on the back end, and banks and well, the SBA is the one handling the EIDL, that there were some interpretation differences from region to region, and so they've been trying to streamline their own processes, if you will. This has been a remarkable time frame for them to turn something out of this nature in such a short amount of time. So they're really playing catch up.
Yes.
Indeed. While you're changing slides here, I will go ahead and answer to all. The answers that I've been trying to answer privately, Dan had asked about that some banks have quit making loans and there have been loan applications for about 200 million already. Do we continue to submit to multiple banks or just only one? Well, so stay patient, because there was not a lot of oversight on the front end. We have banks that weren't a part of SBA and some who were already qualified lenders. Those qualified lenders already had government loan experience on the front end, so they were able to streamline pretty quickly. The other banks are having to play a little catch up, and so there's a lag in non-SBA lenders playing the catch up part. Also, in this situation, we have different banks wanting to add on other stipulations for allowing certain loans. Maybe they are fearful of how much they will be refunded on the back end, and they wanted to be careful about the overload to their people and what workload they could actually process. So some banks, we were told, limited to their own customers that they had an established relationship with, or maybe some they'd only had lender relationships with before. So there were a lot of strenuous external guidelines that different banks were doing independently. So from our understanding, SBA is working along with all of the lawmakers to try to intervene in this way and get it across the board so that our local businesses can get fast responses. They know that's the goal. And so they're trying to get some of these loopholes taken care of as quickly as possible. They're trying to get them all back on the same page, right? So in short, to answer Dan's question, no, I don't think they're done giving loans. I don't think that you get in line and oops, we ran out, there's none for you. I don't think that is the case. And also, I think that the banks who are putting in these extra requirements or only loaning to their own people, that's all going to get filtered out in the wash, and they're going to get everybody taken care of one way or another, you know, in one avenue or another. Then I was chatting back and forth with Katie, and I believe that the app we have linked on our page is the official EIDL app. So maybe it's in our description that we're misinterpreting what is a lengthy app. It is pretty short and sweet. The EIDL doesn't have quite too much there that it's asking you for.
But it does. The EIDL is the longest one. There's a lot of information. It didn't, when it first started out, it was very short. But that was just if you wanted to apply for the $10,000 grant, which you really can't do. So that's something that's changed.
Right. So the EIDL application, if you go to the SBA page, there are 5 bullets that it goes through, 5 different steps, and filling in all of the other details. So if you go to the link that we have linked to SBA, that will be the correct application, that EIDL application there. So if that's not the one that you did, then and perhaps the early on ones were accepted if you went through that process early on. I have not heard that you, even as they change, that you would have to do something again. Have you heard that, Kim?
My understanding is that you have to, but let's clarify that. I'll put a call into Congressman Brady's office.
Okay.
And see if he can see if they can get that information for us.
Okay.
I'd like to clarify something about how the lenders work with you. The lenders are required to know their who they're making a loan to. This came about after 9/11 and because of the money laundering. So the people that the banks already have relationships with, that they're already doing a business loan with or something, those people are going to get taken care of first. Everybody else, you know, will get taken care of but those others will get taken care of first because there's more work for them to do to get to know you as far as they're required to by the government and the money laundering acts. So for questions about your specific situation, this is who you can contact along with Congressman Brady's office if you can't get through and ask the SBA specifically. Now, these are resources that are not from the SBA. But they are other resources that you can check out. So like the People Fund and the Lift Fund programs, if you're a restaurant, they do have help for restaurant owners as well. So let's talk about the Employee Retention Tax Credit. There is a link that gives you a lot more detail, and it has an example on how it works. And I think that example is very comprehensive, and it really helped me to understand exactly how it worked. And again, you need to look at, is it in your best interest to go the route of the tax credit, the PPP, or the EIDL? Those are just numbers that you're going to have to run to see which is the best way. So, but the tax credit is 50% for the first 10,000. So only certain employees are eligible. And again, on this page that we have for you, it's going to give you that information that which ones are. And the credit is paid, applied against the employer portion of the payroll taxes. Now, this next sentence will give you a clue, because the Treasury Department will develop a process. So it means it's not complete yet. So this is something for us to stay aware of to see what changes it's going to be made. Mm-hmm. So do we have any other questions? And you, if you'd like to ask questions, just unmute yourself and we can take those questions.
So just curious how everybody is coming along in the process. I see here that Katie has filed the EIDL app yesterday, and so she's still working through the process of 1099s. I answered her privately, but I'll throw this in here. Again, 1099s are being taken care of independently. So the way all of these efforts are being addressed is they want you and your W-2s to be handled by you, and then all 1099s, independent contractors can then apply for their own help by showing their documentation for themselves. That way it'll be the easiest to track, is my best understanding. Any other insight onto that with the 1099s, Kim?
No, other than they can make application starting this Friday.
That is correct, right? So they have opened the 1099s coming this Friday. So they were handling the small business owners first. Yes.
Right.
Correct. All right. Yes, special instruction on seasonal businesses. Yes, go ahead.
No, there are special instructions, and if you will refer to the Excel spreadsheet that is already on the web page, it's going to walk you through.
Yes, for coming up with your number specifically, Dan, those 3 different spreadsheets there will tell you at the top, option 1, option 2, option 3. Select the spreadsheet that says seasonal and fill in your numbers accordingly, and it will give you the loan amount suggested from running your numbers that you'll add into the EIDL there. Okay. Yes, Kyle, we are going to take this recorded Zoom video and add it once again to our COVID-19 page of resources. All of those links we try to keep accurate, current, up to date, so that you can go back and check on those. Like I said, on the bottom, the links directly to the applications and the lenders is provided. So if you need to go specifically to your bank and see where to begin with COVID there, that will be your easiest quick search to find them.
And Kyle, if they would like some personal help, I'll be glad to go through, this presentation with them. I can do a one-on-one. I've done that with many business owners. I do not charge for doing that. I just want to get the information out to help everybody through this time.
Yep, it's great. Well, Kim and I have really enjoyed being able to help all of our businesses locally in this way. And if there is a next step that you need from us, I sent out a survey this morning to my chamber members yesterday afternoon to find out where we are in this process. And I think that we've been timely in delivering our webinars so far. Each week has been about digesting the current updates. But where we want to go next will certainly depend on what you need from us, and we will be diligent to do the research on your behalf, find it, and get that into your hands and get it on our resources page. So please let us know how we can further be of assistance and what you would like to see maybe in our next webinar. Perhaps this is a good time. Tuesday afternoon at 1 seems to be a good timing for us. Thank you, Dan. I'm glad that you enjoyed all the information. So Kim, if you have anything else in closing, I think we've gotten our questions covered for today, and we'll wrap this one up.
All right. Thanks for being here with us, and we look forward to helping you answer the questions that you have in the future.
Super. And thank you, Kim, for all of your hard work and fabulous slideshow. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.